One thing about our lifestyle is we have a lot of flexibility. Like recently we made an unscheduled stop in Langtry, Texas on our way to Del Rio, and we were able to visit the Judge Roy Bean Museum.
And it turned out to be an unexpected treat.
Okay, we're here in Langtry, Texas, the home of Judge Roy Bean. And we're going to go down to the museum in a minute. Not far from Big Bend is the Rio Grande, I think right along those bluffs.
Infamous lawman, who happened to be a saloon owner and even a judge, still resonates off the rocks of Langtry.
Well, Langtry is kind of special, has a very interesting history. We have almost as many historical markers as we have population.
Jack Skiles is another legend of Langtry whose grandfather came to this part of the Lone Star State in 1905.
I growing up as a kid hearing about Judge Roy Bean, but most of what the local people said was rather derogatory. We often referred to him as that old scoundrel, or that old scalawag, or that old reprobate. I didn't even know what reprobate meant until I started writing about it. Had to look it up in the dictionary.
In 1968, he opened the doors to the Judge Roy Bean Visitor Center to help tell a story he knew by heart. Heck, he wrote the book on it, Judge Roy Bean Country.
This is the Judge Roy Bean Visitor Center and Museum. These buildings are the original buildings from when Judge Roy Bean was here in Langtry, Texas. They're in the same location. The lady at the visitor center says out front where there's the road is actually where the train tracks were, and that the visitor center sits in the approximate location of the train depot. But she thinks about in the 1920s the train tracks were moved to the north part of town.
This is Jersey Lillie, Judge Roy Bean's saloon, named after an actress that he was smitten with. He was known as the Law of the West, or at least he declared himself Law of the West. Hollywood declared him to be a hanging judge, but in actuality he only sentenced 2 men to hang, one of which actually escaped before he got hung. So really, he only hung 1. Opera House, Town Hall, and seat of justice. The Roy Bean's Opera House, Town Hall, and seat of justice was not actually any of those things. It was Judge Roy Bean's home. The original Jersey Lillie had served as a saloon, billiard hall, and courtroom, as well as the judge's home. And when it burned in 1896, Bean rebuilt a smaller version of the Jersey Lillie and constructed this building as a separate residence. There actually were tales centering around Bean's fascination for the famous English actress Lillie Langtry. Suggested by labeling his home Opera House, he hoped to lure the actress to his adopted town. He lived in this building until he died on March 16, 1903. Judge Bean had such an affection for the English actress who he never met that he named the whole town after her. And he died in 1903, And he had invited her to come to Langtry many times in letters, but she actually didn't come to Langtry until about 10 months after he died. And you think that as many times as he's made people mad or done things, like he even was hung once, but he survived over a fight with a woman, with a Mexican agent. And so he was hung, but he survived, and he had rope marks on his neck for the rest of his life from where he had been hung. But you would think that some rough and tough way of dying. No, he got sick and he died.
Side windows in the back window and get some air flowing through there.
Dry everything out. Well, we're going to make a couple more stops before Garner State Park and another Harvest Host, and then we're going to be heading to St. Louis to celebrate an engagement and a special little man's second birthday. So stick with us and come see Garner State Park with us next week.
So don't forget to get up and get out. Perfect.
You think so?
Yep. Time to eat.